Welcome to the Coffee Experts Club. If you're at all interested in anything we talk about in this episode, go ahead and check out the description down below, or if you even just want to know more about us, click on the links below. Now on to the episode.
Coffee Experts Club.
Hey.
Gentlemen, Ben, back with a new baby, dude. Welcome back to the show, father of two.
Glad to be here. I felt like I was in a quarantine bubble there for a week, just like cut off from the world, but it's good to be back. Feels good.
That was nice.
That was a little nice. It got old pretty quick.
I'll tell you what, Ben gave us a little bit of a pot shot in a different channel you weren't a part of. I sent him over the YouTube stats on how the podcasts have been doing. I'm like, Ops Experts Club, which if any of you are listening right now, we do have a whole nother podcast called Ops Experts Club. It's for digital businesses online. And so Ops Experts Club doesn't usually perform as well as Coffee Experts Club. But last week, Ops Experts Club soared higher, much higher than Coffee Experts Club. And Ben said it was because Ben wasn't on the show.
I had the week off. It makes sense. Correlation and causation.
Ours was also a particularly touchy-feely episode last week, and no one wants to feel that way.
Oh, man. I thought it was a great episode, Drew, so don't get too hurt. Don't get too hurt feelings.
I'm in my feelings.
So today we thought we'd talk about Coffee Experts. What separates you in the market share? You know, as Drew and I are looking at the end of a year, I hope you're looking at this too. How are we going to tie up the year? How are things going to end? And at one of our locations, we are going to actually end like 5% lower than we had in the years previous, which is a heartache, right? You never want to see that. But then Drew said, yeah, but they've opened 6 coffee shops in our town since last year. We've seen this much more pressure hit our town. And obviously that's going to start affecting sales. We all are aware of that. Competition obviously is going to strip off some business. But one of the best things you can do for yourself to safeguard yourself from losing sales is key differentiators, right? What makes you different than your competition? And what Drew and I noticed is not every coffee shop does something that Ben, you and me and Drew have been doing for a long time. And that is the 5 days of Christmas, 7 days of Christmas, whatever you're going to do, deals days around the holidays is something that can really set you apart. And I feel pretty good about the deal days that Drew and I are doing down in Belize this year. I feel like they're pretty kick-ass deals. And my hope is that, man, nobody's going to be serving coffee in the entire town because everybody's going to be going to us because our deal days are so good. So I'm great generosity and I'm boosting those deal days and I'm trying to drive traffic. So I thought we could talk a little bit about deal days and key differentiators on today's show.
I remember talking to Wes about something like this quite a while ago because him and I would have a lot of conversations about, what it's like to start a shop, what it's like to start a business in those first few years. And, there's a lot of difficulties. There's a lot of unknowns. And he said one way that we cemented ourselves in and really became an anchor for the community is to be generous. He said the first 3-5 years, you give as much away as you possibly can. Give it away, bring people into your shop, create the culture of generosity and authenticity, connect with people, find out what your community is into, what they enjoy, what makes them tick, and speak to that, and try to fill that space. Because I think, a lot of customers are looking for a space to belong or looking for, I want to be a part of this cool thing.
Yep.
And then it's like, oh, this coffee shop gives to this charity that I enjoy, or this coffee shop has always given me discounts, or look at this cool exclusive T-shirts that they made for, the first 50 customers this one day. So, the first 3 to 5 years, we're just hit our 3-year mark. And we're just trying to be as generous as possible.
Plus, it's a real easy thing to do, especially around the holidays. Like, you've got a built-in excuse to be generous. Honestly, you should be looking for ways that you can be extremely generous for the holidays with your employees and your customers. It's just there's nothing that sets you apart more as a local brand, as a local company, than doing amazing deals that you wouldn't get at a Starbucks. Starbucks isn't going to say, hey, we're going to do buy one, get one free, get 10 stamps, get a free t-shirt. They're not going to do that because they're a giant corporate entity. They're a public company that's going to hit the bottom line too much. It all comes down to spreadsheets and dollars, and people feel that. They know that. So when you as a local company could say, hey, you know what, you may get a eggnog latte over there and a hello, but over here we'll get you one and we'll get your kid a free drink and we'll say Merry Christmas. Something that just cements you as like, hey, yeah, we're actually real people. We're a real local brand. You know us, we know you, and people, like you said, Drew, love and want to be a part of something.
I know sometimes we'll throw shade on Wes, sometimes we'll throw shade on roasters for, and I think, listen, it's all said in love, right? Like, there are things that people do, like none of us are perfect. we look back on things, Drew and I look back on things that we've done, and we're just like, man, what were we thinking? Like it seemed so good at the time, but you're like, nobody can nail it at the time. But I'll tell you what Wes really nailed well was cult following. Like Wes, man, it's like he brewed that shit. It was like it was his own personal concoction. Like, and he did such a good job at like selling it first to the baristas, right? Like making them feel like deeply part of something, deeply entrenched in something. Because realizing your baristas are your first customers, right? Those are the ones you've got to convince first, because they also become your evangelists, right? Because what the baristas believe, they're the ones that are going to be feeding that stuff to people as they come through the window, as they come to the bar, you know? And so I think that it's really important to start with your people first. And I know we've talked about that in the past of being generous to your people, but this is a great time of year to make sure you're giving your people Christmas bonuses, right? Be generous first with your people. And then from there, look for charities that you can be given to at the times that it's critical to be giving, and to be a team player in the community, you know? And so we look for those things to be generous with, but also like realizing customers don't forget the generosity you give. Customers remember deal days. You know, I think, Ben, you had a visual maybe that you could pull up and share, like, so maybe we could walk through some of the deal days of times past, deal days of Christmas past.
Come on a journey to Christmas past. Yeah, I grabbed this just to show everybody an example of what we would do for deal days. And this isn't something that you have to do yourself, but I recommend it. You know, we always had a handout, you know, that we would give customers, telling them what the deals were the week before, but just simple, like it could be 5 days, 7 days, like you said, 10 days. You know, we on the December 18th would bring in 3 food items for a local food bank. You get a medium drink for $1. Now, keep in mind also, I think these were 2020 prices, 2021 prices. So a dollar medium drink might not be in your pocket yet, but we're gonna do a food drive for a charity. Come in and get extra stamps or loyalty points, however you do that. A gift card deal. We want those people to come back in the month of January to keep feet coming in the door. 2 for $6, 2 drinks for $6, you know, freshly roasted special bag of beans for $5, which is a huge deal with the purchase of a drink. Stickers. We were doing sticker deals, and this was a recurring theme. The 24th was always a tip your barista day. You know, that was basically, we're going to give to the baristas. It's all about the baristas and customers. Out of all of them, that tip your barista day was always such a huge hit with the customers, because we had created such a camaraderie with our customers, and we had created such raving fans that they loved the idea that the company, you know, us, because we've been so generous with the customers here, have these great deals. They actually loved it when we as a company said, okay, now we want you to bless our baristas. You know, it kind of created a fun reciprocity in essence. The baristas are here serving you. We want to give the customers a chance to serve the baristas. Which is it doesn't sound on paper like it would work well, but people loved it. Because, you know, at Roasters, our baristas were, like you said, that we had that cult following of customers. Our baristas created really, really good relationships with our regulars. You know, just like every other coffee shop that really knows their customers well, we'd go in and, you know, those customers would be bringing plates of food and presents. You know, the baristas working Christmas Day would be making, you know, walking out $200 tips. Your customers want to serve your baristas too, if you create that sort of environment. So it was always really cool. But I highly recommend, like your Christmas is really the time for you to give away the house, because not only does it help with that sense of community, it helps your branding, it's good marketing, but also it sets you up for the killer month of January. And keeps people coming through. That was one of the biggest reasons why we did those gift card deals on Black Friday and Christmas, because we knew that, we were going to take a hit, but at least we were staying inside people's routines. After Christmas, people, you know, tighten up their wallets quite a bit. What can we do to keep you coming in, even if it hurts us during the month of January, knowing that it'll keep you in that routine, and we'll see you back in February and March and April and May and June and so forth. So highly recommend that.
I think Drew, even hearing Ben give us the spiel, I'm like, damn it. Like, we missed a couple of things this year. I mean, things that we thought we had on lockdown. And I'm like, dude, we should have let Ben preach to us before we were determining our deals. Dang it. Because I think that there's some really good stuff in that stuff.
Yeah, there is. Well, I mean, it's important to the non-material aspect of what we do is being the third place, you know, where people want to come. And as you mentioned, the good feelings, you know, a lot of people go through an energy dip in January and February because, you know, we got all of the amazing holidays and family time and foods and sweets and bright lights and pretty colors of November, December, and then January is dreary and snowy and dull. And we want to reflect nice on what was it that made us feel good, and get a little bit ahead of that, like the smiling baristas, And I remember the times they were there. I was able to get my free drink. I was able to get my free T-shirt. I was able to give back, and give back to the baristas who were serving me this whole time. And there's a lot in that, the generosity, that feeling that the customers are giving back, and not just getting all the time. And I think that's key to the good feelings, that keep people coming back and feeling like they are a part of something.
I think too, something that we could really consider, and I don't know what your guys' thoughts on this, and maybe it's a terrible idea, so just shut me down publicly if you need to shut me down. But I was thinking it could have been cool too, and it could be cool for us to consider in the future. Is what if we as a company chose to match your tips today? Like it was like for Barista Day, it was like the company's going to match your tips. You know what I mean? So like it encourages generosity from your people, and they think to themselves, holy cow, like baristas on this day are going to make like double the tip because we're going to like match it. You know what I mean? I think that shows, hey, like get involved, tip your barista. If you really love this kid, if you really love the way they serve, tip them big because we as a company are going to match whatever you give. You know what I mean? In a way that could be a cool way for us to get on board of supporting our kids too that work for us.
I think that's a great idea. And you will, I mean, if it was anything like the locations I worked at on Christmas and the Roasters days, the only problem is you might be spending a lot of cash.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember, the guys that would come through and tip each barista $100. You know what I mean? It's like all four of us got tipped nicely.
Yep.
That's crazy.
But I think that's an amazing idea if you can swallow the pill financially, and maybe you're setting some revenue aside in the month of November and October to make up for that, to do well for you. But I mean, that would be huge. I think. I mean, not only would that would get your customers involved, but that would probably be the fastest you've ever seen a coffee be made by your baristas on that day. Like those would be the most efficient baristas, the best baristas you've ever had all year would definitely be on that day. And it would be great because it's Christmas and your customers would be getting amazing service. And you'd have a lot of customers who are probably in town with family. A lot of customers you wouldn't usually get are going to be coming through your stand on Christmas. I think that's a great way to incentivize probably the best service you've ever had all year.
Well, and too, like you run into scheduling problems, right? Like holidays, and you want your people to spend time with family. Like we're not trying to discourage that, but like for drive-through coffee, it amazes me how many places even around here will close. Like they close. Like no. Christmas is your day. Like people are going to family outings. They need an excuse to leave. Like they need an excuse to go get something. They need some breather. They need their faces that are going to fill them up. Not every family is a happy family. You know what I mean? Some people are like, oh man, got to go see. And I think, man, your baristas are brightening people's days. So how could we bless the baristas as well that work those days? Because that they probably do have to make a sacrifice. But not only do they make holiday pay, but that they get, we're actually going to crown that with, hey, it's Tip Your Barista Day, and we're going to match the barista's gift. So as you go in, think to yourself, how many other coffee shops are closed today? Think about, like, we chose to stay open to serve you, to honor you as the guest. Like, let's bless these baristas who are choosing to sacrifice. And it probably would deal with a lot of the scheduling problems. I know Drew and I were debating one of our locations. We're like, man, are we going to have to close because we're not getting enough volunteers to work it? But it's like, let me promise you something that is going to make sure you never have to struggle with scheduling. It's offer like holiday wages and then double your tips day. Like not only are we going to promote it with the customer, we're going to double your tips like that. You'll never have a problem with scheduling on that day.
I remember as a barista, Christmas was one of the funnest days to work for me because I mean, most of the time, in all reality, customers are in a hurry. Customers are in their own worlds. They're dealing with screaming kids in the car. They're late to work. Didn't get time to eat breakfast, and so there's stressful. It's a stressful moment. At the window, it can be really stressful. On Christmas, nobody's really in too big of a hurry. People are more understanding. People are more calm. People are excited to be around. And I remember as a barista being excited to be there for the customer. Because you see your coworkers, you see your customers a lot more than you're going to see your family most of the time because you're always 8 hours a day you're working, so it becomes part of your routine. Any way to sweeten that deal even more. I mean, I was already excited. If I got tip matching, I would have been double the tip excited.
I love it. But Ben, it was crazy because I think sometimes we take for granted things we've been doing for a long time. We've been doing this for a long time. Yeah, we've been like teaching this stuff for a long time. Sometimes coffee experts, sometimes you don't know this, but behind the curtain, we're like, what could we possibly talk about that we haven't talked about already? You know what I mean? Like there are just times like it's content is tricky, but I will say this as we were thinking about what should our deal days be. We went and did recon on all our surrounding competitors, and nobody's doing deal days right now. We're the
Wow.
only ones. You know what I mean? And so it's like, man, what a way to set yourself apart as no, this is uniquely us. This is something uniquely we do. This is something we can uniquely be known for. And then like over the past few years, like people have copied us, right? There are always going to be copycats, but it's like first to the trend, man. Make the trend, make yourself loud, because then at least anytime you see that, we all know that feeling, right? We walk into another coffee shop and we're like, look at those guys biting on their style. Look at those guys copying them up the street. And at least like be first one out there, man, and be bold and be loud and let people know, we give back in this community. We're generous in this community. We show up well for this community, because Wes was really right when he used to, I remember Wes would just harp on this and come down so hard on baristas for this, of like, hey, do you like working here? Awesome. Make sure the guests know that. Make sure, man, that you're working hard. They're the reason you have a job. You know what I mean? So like, make sure you're serving them well. Make sure you're showing up well. Make sure it's fast. Make sure you know their name. Make sure you know their order. Like this is the customer experience that they have at your window that's going to bring them back next time.
Mm-hmm. I think along those lines too, it's a great time of year in these deal days. It's something we did a lot too is, we always talk about hard goods, mugs, tumblers, shirts, but it's a really good time to run exclusive products in those deal days and make it fun for the guest, in that it's a lot of what we did was the guests would submit. We would do social media stints where we'd say, hey, submit some drawings, and we would feature something from a customer who's been through a drawing that they made as the design of one of our cups. Like finding ways to not only sell hard goods during the holidays, because we need to do that, but incorporating your guests, incorporating your customers into that process again. This brings them into this, like, let's enjoy the holidays together. And there's nothing cooler than like, a guest submitting a design and it gets put on a cup and it's sold during Christmas. Like that's super cool. And honestly, those are when we sell them the most hard goods too, because again, it goes back to you give to us, we give back to you. It creates this real reciprocity during the holidays where it's like, I'm getting something, but also you're getting something. Everybody wins and everybody feels good in a situation like that. Nobody wants to go to a local shop or a local spot and just think, oh, I'm getting taken advantage of again. It's the holidays. And it just feels gross. But if we're doing something where we both win, the customer gets something and beyond, and you get something from the customer, and everybody walks away from those transactions, those deal days feeling good. Like that's marketing for your brand. You can't create. That only happens organically and naturally. And it only happens through that really, really goodwill, generosity. I want to give away the house during the holidays just to make my guests feel special.
Good. So Christmas this year, boys, let me tell you what you can get me. Just kidding. We're not going to go into that. Like, I will say, like, really be mindful as you come into holiday. I know it's kind of a late edition. Probably next year we should do this show, maybe not on the week of Christmas. Maybe we should do this a little bit in advance. Maybe thinking about before we get there. But I will say, key differentiators, right? Make yourself sound out. One of the loudest ways you can do that is through generosity. And man, give them back to your people first, and then let them be the ambassadors for you, the brand ambassadors, because they see how generous you are. It's so great to hear baristas talk well of their employers, because listen, we all know like a job is a job, right? Like for us who own businesses, like, yeah, this is your baby and it's all you think about. That's not all your people think about, you know what I mean? So like, how can you invest in them in a way that they're like, and you always have to work is still work, right? But at the same time, I love the way they treat me. I love the way they invest in me. I love the way that they see my value, and they don't just treat me like a commodity, like something they can just toss out and have somebody else come back in and fill in behind me. Like, how can we really make these people know we care about them, and in turn care so much about our customers? Because that really is why we are a business, is to be here for the people. So,
love it.
All righty, boys. Well, Merry Christmas, Coffee Experts. Thanks for showing up for Coffee Experts Club this holiday. We hope you have an amazing holiday season, and we'll see you back here for the new year.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. See you guys.